From their network of NGO contacts around the country, information reaches Telapak that the timber mafias are now targeting Indonesia's Papuan provinces on the island of New Guinea.
Indonesia's Papuan forests were an obvious place for the timber mafia to go to next, because here you had huge stands of ancient forests, you had valuable hardwoods available, very little control. I mean, the area for them just must have felt like an open book to make money.
The city of Sorong, on the northwest tip of Papua, is a hotspot for the illegal logging business. Its hotels and seedy bars are where deals are struck between the timber mafia and foreign timber buyers, mostly from Malaysia, China, and India. There is corruption in the local forestry office. Here, officials willingly and illegally redraw the boundaries of protected areas to suit the needs of timber companies, allowing access to valuable timber. The prime target for the loggers is the merbau tree, a threatened species with the last commercial stands found on the island of Papua. Merbau is used for flooring and furniture. Large amounts are being illegally shipped out from Sorong, despite Indonesia's log export ban. This shipping website shows consignments of merbau logs awaiting collection for delivery to China and India.
We were in Sorong, and one night a couple of guys came to see us from the Kaoem tribe, which was an indigenous tribe living in the forest, and they told us what had happened to their forest.
An amazing story about how their area had been invaded by loggers, and it was being controlled by a military police officer who had kind of threatened them, walked around with a pistol, and basically told them that, you know, this wood's going to be mine, there's nothing you can do about that.
EIA and Telapak travelled south of Sorong city, a day's journey by speedboat and on foot, to the home of the Kaoem tribe, to witness the impact of logging on traditional communities. In 3 locations in the Kaoem tribal lands, illegal merbau logging is taking place against the wishes of the community. Damage to the forest from logging roads is clear to see. EIA and Telapak observed large merbau logs awaiting collection, clearly illegal, since no official permit has been granted to log in this area.
Dan untuk lingkungan ini, perasaan untuk melihat lingkungan itu sebagai bagian yang harus dihancurkan memang tidak. Itu termasuk rumah tangga yang besar. Hubungan sebagai kearifan masyarakat adat dengan alam itu sangat menjadi kebanggaan masyarakat. Dan tatanan kehidupan masyarakat adat di sini melihat bahwa kekayaan alam yang ada itu menjadi aset utama. Sehingga di dalam pengolahannya itu sangat sederhana.
The outsider responsible for the illegal logging of this tribal land is a military police officer called Casper.
What's happening is corruption is moving in, the military are involved, the police are involved, and what's needed is that the governor of Papua actually investigates what's happening with this corruption, with the military, with the police.
Staying with the Kaoem tribe that we stayed with in the village was an extraordinary feeling. There was no electricity, there was nothing there that we would be used to. But it didn't take long to really feel the wonderful sense of how that community lived as such a close-knit, caring, loving community. It rubbed off very heavily on us.
In part due to the work of EIA, Telapak and others, Western governments and consumers begin expressing concerns regarding the legality of available tropical hardwoods. Indonesia's legitimate timber industry decides to join Telapak's initiative to define the legality of timber.
Lalu kalau kita tanya, apa sih illegal logging? Nah, disitulah orang debat tentang pendefinisian itu. Dan itu lama. Definisi itu lama di dalamnya di SK Menteri, SK Dirjen tentang istilah legal itu. Lama sekali itu.
Pada tahun 2003, diskusi-diskusi seperti ini semakin banyak terjadi karena semua pihak merasa bahwa langkah awal untuk bisa menanggulangi permasalahan illegal logging adalah kejelasan terlebih dahulu, gitu loh. Mana yang kayu legal, mana yang ilegal, sehingga penegakan hukum bisa berlangsung efektif dan juga para pelaku usaha punya panduan yang jelas bagaimana melakukan usahanya.
As the talks get underway, the parties involved realise how very far apart their interests lie.
Perdebatannya itu sangat hangat dan bahkan kalau mau bisa dibilang panas gitu ya. Itu betul-betul head to head terutama antara private sector gitu, industri dan pihak masyarakat sipil.
In a further attempt to reduce supplies of its ramen to Malaysia, the Indonesian government submits a request to CITES ahead of its annual meeting that ramen be upgraded from Appendix 3 to Appendix 2. In support, EIA and Telapak hurriedly compile and release the ramen racket.
So we set out to create a really compelling document which would help make the argument. So we pulled together all the information on ramen dating back to the late 90s in Tanjung Puting and the trade in Malaysia, all the things that we gathered over those years.
CITES considers the issue and moves ramen to Appendix 2. This declares ramen to be potentially threatened and regulates legal trade in the species. The Malaysian government responds by declaring the move unnecessary. From trusted contacts in West Papua, information reaches the NGOs of a significant increase in the number of merbau trees being illegally logged and then illegally shipped to China. Within days, the team returns to Sorong, intent on tracing the illegal export of the timber.
EIA and Telapak's report reveals how shadowy international networks are conspiring to steal huge amounts of valuable merbau logs from Indonesia and smuggling the contraband to China using false Malaysian documents, often with the complicity of the Indonesian authorities. With huge cargo ships arriving daily, it is a trade of breathtaking scale and destructiveness. Merbau logs are the most common timber found at the port. This luxurious, dark hardwood is used in the manufacture of flooring. In the last 5 years, hundreds of factories have sprung up in Nanshun, churning out thousands of kilometres of merbau wood flooring. There are over 200 sawmills in the town processing merbau logs, the vast majority of which have been stolen from Papua. The Shanghai-based firm Sihi Wood revealed to EIA and Telapak undercover investigators that they regularly export merbau flooring to the UK, Canada and the USA.
For merbau, I think every month we export about 20,000, 25,000, I think.
25,000 square meters.
The massive illegal trade in merbau between Indonesia and China is threatening the last pristine forest in the Asia-Pacific region. While a chain of brokers and middlemen are earning vast profits, the communities of Papua are being robbed to feed China's rapacious timber industry.
Lembaga Investigasi Lingkungan atau EIA mengungkapkan Papua.
The Last Frontier makes headlines around the world and dominates the news agenda in Indonesia for several days.
Lembaga Investigasi Lingkungan yang berbasis di London, EIA dan Telapak di Indonesia.
There's widespread public anger that the country's forests are being illegally destroyed by domestic timber mafias and sold to China at discount prices. The President requests a copy of the report and video investigation and calls an emergency cabinet meeting. He then addresses the nation.
Kejahatan illegal logging juga sangat meresahkan. Instruksi saya singkat dan jelas. Selamatkan hutan kita, hukum para penebang dan pencuri kayu secara liar itu.
From the capital Jakarta, the President dispatches a military task force of 1,500 personnel to Sorong. The task force confiscates huge stores of illegally logged merbau and stops all pending illegal exports to China, where the lack of supply causes the price to double. Kaspar, the corrupt military police officer responsible for the illegal logging on the Kanasaimos people's lands, disappears.
So from a campaigning point of view, the impact of the Last Frontier report was better than we could have ever anticipated. We expected something, but we didn't expect something so dramatic and so quick, which basically marked a turning point in Indonesia's struggle against illegal logging. It finally reached the right level, and we sensed for the first time there was genuine commitment to actually do something on this issue. And so it was a great moment in the campaign, really.
Astounded by the volume and variety of timber from all across Southeast Asia that the team saw in China, EIA decides to launch a separate campaign looking into illegal logging in Southeast Asia and the illegal transport of that timber across the region.